Hey everyone, it's Michael V. Moore, aka MicVinny, and today I want to talk to you about something that's pretty special to me, and that's pretty special to you guys out there. So of course, MicVinny, I deal with traveling fitness, so I provide fitness solutions for those who travel. So that means, if you're traveling in a plane, or if you're living in the DC area like myself, the DMV, DC Metro, or excuse me, DC, Maryland, Virginia, for those who are outside of this area. You spend a lot of time commuting back and forth in your car. And what you find out is you spend almost 2 hours a day in your car. So that's 2 hours of time taken away from you every single day. So if you're a parent, that's a lot of precious time right there, because that means as soon as you get home, you pretty much got to cook dinner, or you have to pick up the kids, or if your kids are doing extracurricular activities, you have to pick them up from their school, have to go from, the basketball practice, football practice, whatever they're into, soccer practice, and bring them home, get them calmed down, make sure their homework's done, and you're constantly looking after other people. And then there's also other people who live busy lives, who have to take care of family members, who have to take care of loved ones, and they find that all of their time and effort is put into that person instead of themselves. And what happens is when you do these good deeds, when you try and be a better person, you put all your energy out there to help everyone else. But when it comes to yourself, you always put yourself in the back burner. And what eventually happens is your health starts to decline. Like, you may start losing sleep, getting less and less amount of sleep. You start getting stressed out. Next thing you know, that all leads towards these unhealthy habits. And so because you have such a limited amount of time, you try and do the quick thing. So obviously the fast food becomes more attractive because you only have a limited amount of time. And that's why I want to talk to you about today, is just to make sure that you always do you. Don't forget to do yourself. It's totally fine. I mean, I commend you, because I'm considered a Christian, and it's very good. A very good habit to actually help others. You should help others. That's very good of you. But when you're in the process of helping others, you have to remember to take care of yourself. Whether that's getting the proper sleep, whether that's drinking, at least 8 glasses of water a day, or even if that's just getting, 5 minutes of exercise in the morning. That's something. Is it ideal? Maybe not. But not everyone has your lifestyle. So you have to do what you can do, what is in your schedule. And over time, you're going to have to figure out how to get better at your schedule. So a great example is, do you know anything about sleep cycles? For a while, I didn't know anything about sleep cycles. But pretty much what happens is when you go to bed and go to sleep, and you're actually sleep, you have these cycles your body naturally goes through, where I believe it's 90 minutes. Don't quote me on that, but pretty much it's around 90 minutes. You go through one full cycle of sleep where you're actually in a deep, 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 deep sleep, and then you kind of wake up, and you repeat several of these a night. And the reason it's important to know about your sleep cycle is because if you are interrupted in your middle of your sleep cycle, what happens is you wake up and you're very, just awful. It feels like you got that pounding headache. You start off your day in a bad mood. You're gonna have a bad day pretty much. But if you're able to wake up right around the end of a sleep cycle, you feel more refreshed. And so if you're a person who finds themselves waking up because you're in a rush always in the morning, you might want to start looking into that, and read books, read articles, or there's even apps that I really like. There's a couple apps. I think the app on my phone is called Sleep Cycle, and it actually allows you to choose what time you want to wake up, and it will pick the time. Well, let me rephrase that. So it's an app you put on your phone, and you put your phone in your bed. And with the iPhone, for instance, it senses the way you move in the middle of the night. So if you're tossing and turning a lot, it knows that you're awake. So when it comes towards you being at the end of your sleep cycle, it will pinpoint, let's say you want to wake up at 6 a.m. It will pinpoint, okay, let me see, 20 minutes before that or 20 minutes after that, depending on how length of time you set it. It will pick the right moment to wake you up so you wake up fully refreshed. It sounds weird at first, but once you try it, you realize it's a great device, and you will have better nights. And the reason you need to get your sleep right is if you're a person who's getting less than, the recommended, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you need to make sure you're maximizing that sleep. So when you wake up fully refreshed. And just purchasing, or it doesn't even cost any money, the app on the iPhone. I'm not sure about Android phones. But yeah, so I'm just talking about sleep cycle because that's one solution to better yourself, to do you, so you rested to take care of all the things you have to do. In addition to that, again, when people who say they don't have time to exercise, for some reason, we get caught into thinking that there's only one form of exercise. It's like, no, throughout your day, you can be getting exercise in. So in the mornings, you can do 5 quick minutes, body squats, push-ups. That's all you need to do a very quick workout. Now, obviously, there's more to it than that, but if that's all you got, then do that. So that's why I preach to my clients who travel all the time, is if the hotel gym is crappy, that's still no excuse for you not to get a workout in. You still can do push-ups and bodyweight squats or lunges. And it's countless bodyweight exercises you can do in 5 good minutes to get your heart burning. So that excuse that you don't have time, if you can just make 5 good minutes at least, and then you just build on that 6 minutes, 7 minutes, so forth and so forth, and you do what you can do. In addition to that, another reason I was kind of talking about getting your sleep right, because if you find yourself with never enough time to do you, maybe you need to get up just 30 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier, or whatever, to get more time to do you, to wake up fully refreshed. Because one of my favorite morning activities to do for myself is I wake up and I give a little prayer, show some gratitude for all those things that's going on in my life as well as others, and make sure that I'm not always being selfish and looking after myself. And pray for my family and friends and strangers, especially strangers. If it's someone I never, I really don't know personally, there's nothing like showing gratitude for a complete stranger, because it will make your human interactions on this planet, as weird as that sounds, a lot better. And in this day and age, especially around what's going on with the politics and this world hatred that people always like to put themselves in categories, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and you got to go out there and reach out to other people. And when you do that, I feel like a better person, and I feel like I'm doing me. I'm giving time to myself by showing kindness towards another human being, because I would want that same amount of kindness. So don't be afraid to be kind. That's also will boost your self-esteem, and that's something that we all need for our mental health, which translates into our physical health, strangely enough. Okay, so you can get up a little earlier to help with that. And in addition to me to show gratitude and say some prayers, I also meditate for anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes. Normally, I would say it's closer to 3 to 5 minutes because of my morning routines. I'm currently rushed in the mornings, but I still try to make time to myself to get my mind right. And when you meditate and take time to do you just get in touch with yourself. And meditation is something that you may not get right away, but the more you practice, the more you realize how great it makes you feel. It makes you feel calm. You won't be stressed when the kids are yelling at you or when you're at work and a project blows up in your face. You'll be cool, calm about the whole situation because of your meditation. So when you're first doing meditations, all you have to do is practice is, close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Your inhale and then your exhale. And that's all what you need to focus on, is that. Nothing else. There's going to be thoughts racing around your head. Just let it come in and out. Just don't focus on that. A good technique people always say is, focus in the foreground on your breathing and let all those thoughts happen in the background. And over time, you get better at it, and you'll be able to do other types of meditations as well. Again, there's countless amounts of apps out there. I know I currently use one called Breathe, but there's so many great apps out there that will help you figure out and get started with meditation. And another good tip I have is for those who find themselves commuting all the time, and you say you don't have time to do yourself, what are you doing in that commute time? Like, are you just like a zombie listening to the radio, listening to some random stuff? I would really highly encourage you to use that time to maximize your self-development, become a better person. So that's a great time to read a book. Yes, you're driving, and yes, I understand you can't read a book, but you can get a book on audio, and it's listening to the entire book. So in almost 1 to 2 weeks, you could have read pretty much a great self-development book. Or, you can read your fantasy novels. There's nothing wrong with that, action type novels. But when you're trying to better yourself, you probably want to read a personal development book that will make you a better person. So if you have a weakness that you always want to get better at, why not just listen to that on your way back and forth from work instead of just listening to the radio, which, I love my hip hop. I listen to a lot of types of music. Like anyone that ever saw my Facebook page will see me have my 80s Mondays and then my hip hop Thursdays. But I listen to all types of music, so please don't think I only listen to hip hop. But I'm just giving this as an example that I cannot stand this current stage of hip hop music. I don't consider it hip hop. I consider it just commercial rap, where companies are paying these young rappers to say nothing, to make people feel like they're uneducated and say absolutely nothing. And people walk around quoting these stupid lyrics, which nowadays there's no such thing as lyrics. But I'm not going to go on a rant. This is about doing you. So I just use that music as an example because it's garbage. You don't need to listen to that garbage for almost 2 hours a day. Why don't you better yourself and read a book? And then if you don't want to, buy an audio book, you can always just listen to a podcast. A podcast is free. There's literally thousands of podcasts. And you can find whatever type podcast you want. You're into sports, find that sports podcast. You're into, superheroes, there's superhero podcasts. You're into watching, Game of Thrones, there's hundreds of Game of Thrones podcasts. So almost any topic you can think of, there's some type of podcast out there for that. And I personally would try and maybe rotate a little bit and have some good, self-development type podcast along with, the great hobby type podcasts or comedy podcasts or whatever floats your boat, so that you're maximizing that time to do yourself and not just wasting that time away. Okay. So that's a great way to spend your time commuting. Or when you're flying on a plane, listen to your podcast or listening to books to better yourself. When you're on the road, that's one of the number one things I say to the clients all the time. We say, "Oh, I don't have time to do this," or "I never have time to read. I always want to read a good book." Well, listen to a book. That's why my first book, Release the Beast, that's why I put it on audio so people could actually listen to it when they're commuting back and forth from work or traveling on the road. When it comes towards getting in shape, it's not always, physical, it's mental as well. So just taking a few minutes every day to just relax and let it go, it's definitely gonna help you in the long run. It's gonna make hard situations a lot easier. And it all starts with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great day and utilize one of these tips as soon as possible. And if you utilize one of these tips and you find it helpful, please reach out to me, michael@MicVinny.com, or you can just leave a comment on this page. I'll see you next time.